Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, one of the oldest post-quartz crisis chronograph watches from Vacheron Constantin, launched around 1990. This is the chronograph 49003 in yellow gold. It's 38 millimeters in diameter, automatic winding, 9.6 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, a wonderfully compact 43.5 millimeters with a very of the period 19 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. You can see the watch on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters circumference. It wears quite nicely, and that's despite the very stiff strap, which has not been broken in, so I'm pulling it super tight. You can see where the lugs are relative to the edge of my wrist. This watch would fit a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, and with a relatively thin profile and a sloped case flank, it'll slide easily underneath any kind of a dress cuff. Now, this is a yellow gold watch, the oldest and boldest of gold, but I've always said that with gold, if you're going to have yellow gold, it's best in a vintage style or a small size, and this watch is both. So the strap is much more modern than the watch. That goes without saying. Large, rectangular, symmetrical scale alligator leather, always a very rare and expensive cut of the hide. You can see it's black with a little bit of bolstering, a monotone stitch, folded edge, calfskin on the bottom. You can see that it is a Jean Rousseau custom strap. JR makes OEM straps for De Bethune, FP Journe, and many others, so we often use them to flatter fine watches. The watch includes a matching yellow gold pin buckle. Now, taking a look at the watch, you'll note that the timepiece is a little bit older than its buckle. If you look at the underside of the buckle there, you can see a post-mid-1995 hallmark on that buckle. And then you can also see here that we have a case that is considerably older than that, as we have the pre-mid-1995 Helvetic hallmark on the 18-karat gold. Just something to note. Taking a quick look at the case band, you can see that we have welded lug case construction, a laborious and old-fashioned way of building a case to create a case, lugs separate, insert the lugs into a slot in the case, weld them together, and then file to create a nice sharp break between the two surfaces. I love to see that. There's also a little kerf under the crown so you can get your nail in more easily. We have this little gadroon style domed bezel, and you can see everything here is in high polish. Vacheron Maltese cross logo on the crown. We have a little bit of a pyramid style pattern to the dial. Then we have yellow gold hands and indices and Vacheron logo. And you can see the old sigma or a priori marks signifying that the dial uses at the very least solid gold hands and indices. That's a system that originated in the early 70s, encouraged by a Swiss precious metals trade group to advertise the presence of gold on a dial. And it was pretty much phased out by the end of the 90s, but Vacheron persisted with it longer than most. Taking a quick look at the dial too, you can also see that the inner bezel has been polished to better reflect light onto the dial. This is not technically part of the modern Patrimony or Traditionnel style lines, although with baton style hands it would be Patrimony in the modern parlance. This wasn't formally part of that line, which didn't exist back in the early 90s. Now, only about 750 of these were made, so they're uncommon. The watch features a Vacheron caliber 1136, which is a Frédéric Piguet 1185, a integrated compact automatic high horology movement developed for Blancpain, but used by Vacheron, Breguet, Harry Winston, Audemars Piguet, and many others over the years. So here we have that movement, which includes a combination of a crisp column wheel function selector with a seamless vertical clutch engagement, so there's no extraneous movement to the seconds hand when you gauge the chrono. You can also leave the chrono running full time with no additional hazard, wear, or tear. It's one of the qualities of the vertical clutch system. We've got a date with a quick set. The watch has a 3 Hz beat rate, unidirectional automatic winding, and a 40-hour power reserve. It's 5-position adjusted and quite compact, a really thin, fine automatic high horology movement that features 37 pivot jewels, and just about the only refinement this 40-hour automatic does not have is a hacking seconds function. It does not include that functionality, but then again it has almost every other refinement that a watch designed in 1990 could possibly hope to have. This watch was only built in a few copies. Remember, that 750 unit production run played out over more than a decade, so in any given year, these were exceptionally scarce. This is a real collectible. 30 meters water resistant when it was new, though I would not test the theory today. If you love it, it's arguably vintage in its own right now. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.